I have this really weird fascination right now with having a second car. And I don't know if it's a car person guy thing or if it's a stupid thing and like, hey, don't do it.
A lot of time that's both.
Here's the thing, like obviously graduated university last year, have now built up not substantial, but funds more than I've had in my life, right? So
Okay.
I'm fighting the urge to buy a second vehicle, like a cheap beater car. Is that crazy to even have that urge? It'd be crazy to act on it, right? It'd be crazy.
What's the goal with the car?
I don't know. I just want to have something to work on and stuff.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you actually?
Yeah.
No joke. No joke.
I'm so bored on the weekends. You have no idea how bored I am on the weekends.
I hear there's an iRacing league that's looking for someone to...
Okay. Let's talk about healthy boundaries real quick with everyone out there. Because we've had this conversation internally, and now it's a great time to turn it externally. Joe has made a very concerted effort to try to distance himself from broadcasting on the weekends.
Right.
For the sake of having a life. My weekend during the days are open, Davey, is what I'm getting at.
Right.
Not my nights.
So what you're saying is they need to start a Sunday morning iRacing league, like Sunday Wannabes.
Yes,
back.
exactly.
If I started a Sunday morning league, would you be down?
To what? To race?
Broadcast?
I mean, yeah, if the price is right.
Okay.
I'm a businessman, man, you know?
Well, the price is never right with you is the problem, as evidenced by multiple failed attempts at trying to get you to hang out with us. So
what does that mean?
The price is never right.
Are you saying that I have to be broadcasting to hang out with you guys? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're trying to say? Wow. It's kind of rude, honestly, to say it, you know?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, man.
Wow. Real quick, because we haven't done it yet, I want to congratulate Mr. Matthew Steelman on his tenure as admin and owner of the USORL coming to a close.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I forgot that was in the last week, if I'm being honest.
I don't even know if it was
I
in
thought
the
it was
last
over a week ago.
I thought it was over a week ago. We just didn't say anything last week.
Matthew did step down as the head owner, and now they were our co-owners of the USRL. But Matthew, thank you. You did a good job over there.
Thank you.
You did a good job, buddy.
There was a funny couple times in the last 6 months where I planned on doing that, and then a big NR scandal broke out, and I was like, I'm gonna sit on that for a little bit.
Yeah, those happen a lot, unfortunately.
I don't need
what
to
was the last one?
blow. I don't even remember, but it was
Let's not get into it.
Yeah, just some big thing, and I was like,
air?
I don't. The owner
Just
of
in
one of the
general.
bigger NR leagues doesn't need to step down right when this is happening, because that's gonna.
Not like
Obviously, I haven't done anything. I need to emphasize that. But I was like, this seems like poor timing.
Matthew Steelman taking a break from the Fake Racers podcast to deal with personal matters.
Yeah.
And 3 weeks later, Matthew Steelman has resigned from the Fake Racers podcast.
But some of my most fun years of racing on NR 2003 came from a league that Matt was the owner of, and
I appreciate that. So
Some of my favorite broadcasts come from a league that Matt was an owner of.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the USRL is in a really good spot. I've been pretty hands off, and I was like, yeah, I think it's time. So I'm proud of what we built, and obviously I didn't do the majority of it. So I've always told people that Zach actually does everything. I'm just the guy who yells at people in race control.
Zach is a baller. I wish Zach got a little more credit from everyone, but Zach is a baller. He kills it.
Zach's the best. So. And obviously
that guy.
everybody else on the admin team. So.
Oh, of course. But
He's
Zach
been
is
there.
the unsung hero.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Zach
fun.
is the best. We love Zach.
We like Zach.
Oh. I was going to use a stronger word. I did use a stronger word.
What do you mean stronger than
I said
love?
love. You said,
I said
like.
that.
No, you said like.
I said no.
You said like.
Yeah. Sure.
Rewind
for
the
the sake
tape.
of, I will. For the sake of driving the show along, I said like, cool.
Folks, make sure if you haven't already, drop a like on the video or on your podcast feed. Subscribe to us here.
That was on purpose. I don't care.
Track and Turf. We appreciate you guys so much. for tuning in with us each and every week. And let's just get right into it because it was another Easter Sunday race for some reason. Denny Hamlin won. And did he cheat the restart? Let's just elephant in the room. Did he cheat the restart?
Who's going first? Who's doing it?
I will say this. So I was in the camp of I didn't see it, and then somebody posted Truex's onboard, and I think it's pretty clear that he did. But I also think it's too late now. So
here's my thing. I think here we go. It's me again. I guess it's me again.
Real quick,
that has to do this part.
Let me just preface what Davey's about to say with Davey drove and raced go-karts, so he knows more than us. Just putting that out there.
I don't think that's at all true, but I will say, based on personal experience, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. It is. I get it. No, you're right, though, Joe. Based on my experience with go-karts, I get it. Here, I have some notes pulled up. So, one thing that I did... I won't go to Denny's comments yet because I did hear some of Denny's comments in the media center, but my initial, like what I saw and why I think it was so close and why I think it was deemed okay. Excuse me if I breathe a lot. I've been sick. I think the main thing is it's if you compare the 11 to the 19 on that restart right before the restart box, it seems obvious. If you compare the 11 to the 5 or the 22. It gets a little bit less obvious because they didn't. Yeah. They went with the 11. It doesn't seem as extreme when you watch those three cars. When you look at just Truex and just Hamlin is when it looks very obvious because the deal with the restarts at the end of the race is that games are always played. Whether it's whether one thing that someone said and excuse me, I am so I cannot breathe. One thing I saw some people say was that Truex laid back. I'm not sure if that's necessarily true that he was trying to lay back, but I do believe that he was he was getting ready to do the thing that you do when you're in second in a late race restart, where you do kind of let the lead car get a little bit ahead at the start of the box, so that when you're in the box you can kind of accelerate a little bit to kind of catch up with them. In fact, I got disqualified for doing that at the USRL. Matt, it's the one thing I disagreed with that you did as an admin. I won that damn race.
In my defense, I'm pretty sure I wasn't at that race. So
I love posting the clown emojis after. It was fun.
That was it.
I did that, and just then all of a sudden it was a fire, and it was funny. And I wish we had Discord for NASCAR Cup Series drivers. Anyways, go on.
Sorry, I have my breath again. I can kind of maybe make some points. But anyway, because games are always played on those late race restarts, and that's why I think there's a little more leeway given to the lead car. And yes, people are like, well, there's a box and it's black and white and you gotta go there. Okay, letter of the law, Denny jumped the restart. I think within the context of the rules and the context of the situation and other restarts that we've seen in the past, really wasn't that much out of line with other restart games people play. This one just so happened to be one that is deemed against the rules. It's really not that much worse than what Truex would do or what everyone does, or even when when they get into the box, they slow way down and then everyone has to follow the leader and then they gas it. It's no different. It's no different than those games. This one is just deemed illegal because he went out of the box. Whether you think that is a wrong that needs to be penalized for or not, that's up to you. In my opinion, I understand the point of view of NASCAR. I understand why we deemed that restart okay. Personally. Letter of the law, yes, he broke the rules, but spirit of the rules, what the restart box is trying to eradicate, why it is there, I understand why it was left alone.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like we're just splitting hairs at this moment too. And I don't know what it is too about Richmond, but it's always Richmond that has the restart issues too. There's so many examples we can think of somebody maybe jumping the start or not getting flagged for it or getting flagged for something that probably shouldn't have been. I don't know what it is about Richmond, but it always brings this, it seems like. So in the end, I'm I don't really care. there's so many different ways you can look at it, and like you said, in the context of what's going on, it's really hard to make that definitive call. So, yeah.
And a lot of people clown Josh Wise for his tweet after the race because he said, "Oh, it's not always a hard line." It's like, "Hey, look, the hard line's on the track." I think people there think they're smarter than they actually are by saying that. Because if you actually have any sort of media literacy at all, and you read what he's saying in the context of what happened, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I just found what you're talking about.
What's the one thing that I think we understand it, but we gripe about it a lot on this show? What's the one thing we gripe about a lot with NASCAR?
Is it a thing that I'm sick of people griping about?
What is it?
I think people always gripe about consistency, but
NASCAR is consistently inconsistent, right? You had another shining example of that with the Kyle Busch caution, which I had later on our show sheet, but now's a better time to bring it up. Because in the context of this race, there's a couple officiating gaffes. I would call the Kyle Busch caution, that was a mistake. Shouldn't have been a caution. They were a little happy on the trigger button. You could call the Kyle Larson spin maybe a little happy on the trigger button. Not really, but you could. You could make that argument.
You could.
With this one, it's frustrating because it's apparent on the TV that Hamlin definitely played a game. It's maybe not as apparent that Truex did, right? I mean, you're talking about it there. It's
of course. Yeah.
It took probably second, third, fourth, fifth look to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think the thing that's really frustrating is a lap and a half later, NASCAR is already saying that the restart was okay. Now, what can they do in that situation? I think you're also putting them in a box like we talked about with the 500, where they made a call and, obviously the 500 was a lot more well thought out behind the scenes, but they made a call to finish the race in the broadcast window to make sure you got a definitive result. Supposedly there's rumblings that NASCAR might do something to Hamlin, which is the dumbest take ever and spits in the face of a lot of things.
One is from Door Bumper Clear. Two, what date is it, Joe?
I don't care about that.
Yeah.
So,
but also, Hamlin did go on his show and say that he jumped, albeit by a foot or so, and also said that everyone else does it. In life, saying if everyone else does it, I can do it too is not usually a very good rule of thumb. In racing, maybe it's a little bit different, right?
It is.
So
it is. I have been rinsed on restarts in karting or starts in karting. I know it's not the same thing. Whoever is listening to this right now and seething that I'm defending Denny
Maybe it's
Hamlin,
your new friends on Twitter.
It could be my new friends on Twitter that love me very much. And call me slurs for some reason. Anyway,
I didn't even catch those. That was
it's a couple people caught the block button this week.
That's good.
But I mean, from top to bottom in racing, people play those games on the restarts, and I can't tell you how many times I got rinsed on starts because I wasn't willing to jump the start, even as the other lead car of the pack, as not the leader of the pack, but the other lead car in the row. How many times I just got completely blitzed by everybody in the field because there's the start cones. We're rolling. We're firing right now. They're over there. They're in front of me. It happens so often, and it happens more often than we probably even can see in NASCAR. It's probably just not as noticeable. And like I said, I think Truex was doing it, and this isn't a thing against Truex. I have plenty to say against Truex later. This isn't a thing against Truex. Truex is doing by trying to let off before the box and then rolling forward in the box to catch up with Denny so he has that momentum. He's doing the only thing that second place can do to keep up with the leader on the restart. There's nothing wrong with that. But it does exaggerate what the 11 did, and then by proxy what the 5 and the 22 did behind them, where they started rolling quicker until they finally went in the box. I mean, you can even see when they actually finally went in the box because the 22 wheel spun behind Denny. It's also Denny Hamlin. No one really thought about it until Martin Truex said it. It's just a recipe for this kind of discussion.
I was just going to mention that, and it's a good segue, is that I don't think we even think about the restart if Martin Truex doesn't have a full-fledged meltdown at the end of that race. That was embarrassing.
That was awesome.
It was pretty sad.
No, that was
pretty
awesome.
sad.
That was so baller. You know, he's door slamming Kyle Larson down the backstretch. He's
Like,
Kyle was like, "Why he saying F me for?"
pretty much.
literally, it was like, what did I do? He's like, I get spun out.
Maybe I roughed
and
him
then
up
I'm
a
just
little bit.
there.
That's what he said.
I actually felt a little bit bad for Kyle Larson at that moment.
His interview was really good too. It was really funny.
Yeah, I respect Martin and stuff. That's just so unlike him. I think that's exactly
Yeah.
what he said. It was like,
It's not horribly unlike him, though. Let's be honest.
I think to actually do something with the car, it is.
Yeah, like he, like the same thing that he did at Roval 2018 and Martinsville 2017. Those 2 times where he definitely did the exact same thing. He was beating Jimmy
Or no,
Johnson's back bumper off.
No,
then-
it was Martinsville 2018 as well.
Martinsville
That was
2018.
That was the
Joey
he ain't gonna
Logano.
win the damn war.
Yeah,
and then
he was
Joey
he was
Logano
beating the hell out of him with his car.
proceeded to win the damn war.
Martin Truex Jr. does this all the time. What are we talking? Like
You
Jeff
just
Gluck
pulled up
said that.
2 examples from 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, but you just fucking said, and Jeff Gluck fucking said that. Oh, this is so unlike him. He's never done this. He's done it at least twice from memory, off the top of my head, immediately.
You know what else he does all the time is get taken to school on late
Yeah,
race results.
thank you, Matt.
Good God, dude.
You just made Davey so
It's
happy.
You're not the only person I've infected with that. Ever since I've
I
said
know.
it, other people have been noticing.
And I say it every time. Like, you pointed it out to me, and now I can't unsee it. Like, it was the same thing that happened in Bristol, where he had the
Yep.
better car, and Denny just took him to school. And, and then just watching him get absolutely freight trained because he was blowing a head gasket in the last lap and a half was... Yeah.
There's no racecraft there. He's a very fast race car driver, very quick. He can run laps like nobody else. But Martin Truex Jr., when he has to drive hard, he's like, so brake later, right?
Yeah.
Just brake later. Just go in 500 feet deeper.
Yeah.
We're going faster. Anyway.
Yeah, that was...
That is how that works, though.
Yeah, sure. Sure is.
Technically it is. Not actually.
Yeah, for like a quarter of the lap.
You're right. Exactly.
Faster for that sector.
Technically.
It was... Yeah, back to the thing with Kyle Larson, though. Like, I saw that coming from a mile away when he just, like, in the middle of the backstretch, just hung a hard left and door slammed the hell out of Kyle for no reason. And I was like, oh,
Yep.
he's going straight
Yep.
into the wall off 4. Like, Kyle is going to use him up. And then sure enough, he did. And then he, rear-ended Denny Hamlin like 4 times trying to come to pit road. And everybody was like, why is he mad at Hamlin? Like, oh my God, it was so
again, jump the restart.
Yeah.
Now, he's also partially probably mad that he lost the race that he dominated, which it's a different argument to make and a different thing. Like, be mad at yourself, be mad at your pit crew. Maybe don't be mad at the other drivers, but...
I mean, trust me, there have been times where I've also tried to do that restart game that Truex did, get hosed for it, and you are very mad afterwards. Because you're like, I just had this plan, and he's gone. Like, he is gone.
It didn't work.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The only thing that would have made the finish of that race more hilarious would have been if Kyle Larson gets spun with 2 laps to go and then gains all of his spots back on pit road and then somehow finds a way to win. Would have been objectively hilarious. That was the only thing I was bummed about at the end of that race.
The Bubba Wallace Kyle Larson moment. Before we move on, I want to talk about
Yeah.
the Kyle Busch caution, but the Bubba Wallace Kyle Larson moment was really funny. Like them two. Bubba Wallace obviously didn't mean to wreck him, but then came down pit road, immediately got his karma. Immediately, could very quickly went to the back of the field. Just can't.
Only
that poor
Bubba
team
Wallace.
cannot finish a race.
Only the
Yeah.
23 team, right? Only them that would happen to. It feels
They
like
need
at
to
this point.
find a way to just not have to pit, and Bubba will be world champion. It's unbelievable how it doesn't matter who's pitting the 23, that they're just terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a bit unfortunate for him.
There's something to be said too, because 2311 is still developing their pit crews. They do their own pit crews and stuff. They don't use JGR anymore for reasons. And Denny Hamlin's talked about this a lot, but the talent pool isn't there, and a lot of these guys that are good pit crew members are like signed to long-term contracts now, which is why it's fun that Fox is highlighting the pit crews more this year.
I do like that
because
that's
they're
really cool.
a larger, more integral part. You know, are they ever gonna have like jerseys for pit crew members? I mean, I hope so. Probably not,
honestly,
though.
Well, if we could get to a place where that was a thing, that was like
Teams trading pit crew
That'd
members
be
and drivers and crew chiefs and stuff.
that's kind of sick. I'm not gonna lie.
You'd have to go to like a complete franchise model, though.
I want to go back to the Kyle Busch caution, and I'm gonna once again be that guy.
Yeah.
Hate to be that guy,
What's that?
but I heard Elton Sawyer's comments about it, and once again, I have to be that guy. It does kind of make sense a little bit. Essentially, he said there's they hear cars slow on the outsides, turn 4, it's a short track. Maybe that car's trying to get to pit road and they missed it. Why are they slow? Will they be able to get back around? These are all things that they have to figure out very quickly on a short track where things are happening very fast. So it sucks, and I think you kind of get the idea that maybe this is one that they wish they hadn't called. Because you can kind of get that vibe from Elton Sawyer when he's talking about it. He's like, "Yeah, well, this happened." You can tell not very happy about it, but like you can kind of feel the reasoning. You can kind of understand why that would be a thing. You don't want that car to be stuck on the outside of a short track, like right outside of pit road where they're not able to get around, they're not able to come down. Whatever that is. I do get it, but
Be a man.
It is. Yeah, sure. It is frustrating to. It was frustrating because the race up to that point was really interesting with the strategy, and it ruined it, kind of. It kind of leveled everything out. It trapped a couple of good cars a lap down, Alex Bowman being one of them. Kyle Larson was able to get back up front, but Alex Bowman was one of them.
It never recovered.
He was not able to recover.
Because
Which
he
was unfortunate,
was
'cause like I said, he was
battling to
good.
be the lucky dog.
Yep. Yeah, which was unfortunate. But you hate to see it. It's okay when that sort of thing doesn't have major repercussions, but that one did, and that's why that one kind of stung a little more, honestly.
Yeah, apparently too, Kyle was like having a meltdown during the race as well. Because
Well,
funny
He's
that you
in an
mentioned
RCR
Bowman.
car.
things aren't going very
Yeah.
well over there at RCR, are they?
No, but yeah, it's funny because you mentioned Bowman because there was a radio transcript of his spotter being like, "Hey, just watch out for the 8 car right now." He's having a moment.
He's a little mad. He's a little
man.
upset. The race started on the wet weather tires. I believe that's what they want us to call them, right?
Yeah.
Because they're not rain tires; they're wet weather tires. Did we like that?
Whatever.
Is that okay? Is it?
I don't.
I wish they
Here's
would
my
have
whole
let
thing
him
on the-
run longer. than
Here's my
20
whole thing on the
laps.
wet weather thing. I think, like, those tires do fine in slightly wetter conditions. I don't see why we're holding their hands so much in that regard. This is never going to change, and it's been this way the whole time, but it still bothers me that we tell the teams when to switch to the dry tire. I hate that.
Yeah,
Like,
same.
why are we holding their hands so much? Like, at Bristol, when the tires started doing that, guess what? Go slower. Save your tires. Maybe that's what you should do. Maybe that's kind of like what you need to be doing then. If you don't want to blow your tire, maybe you should not blow your tire and go slower. And if you blow a tire, maybe you should pit instead of running around at 12 miles an hour the whole time. I don't see why the rain tire situation is any different. Obviously, I still agree with having the competition yellow because the tire situation is a little bit unknown. Like, I get that, wanting to check the tires, but don't tell the teams when to go back. Start the race when it's a little bit wetter. Those tires can handle it, and let them race. Like sink or swim. Let it happen. Let it play out. I want to see it. I think the teams are. As a whole, smart enough to handle that sort of responsibility. They hire a crew chief for a reason. Let the crew chief do his damn job, and let him call when to go on the dry tire.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, that's one of the interesting parts of like when F1 has a rain race is if it stops raining, it becomes like who's brave enough to jump on dry tires first, right? Because you have a huge advantage. Yeah, and I get part of it comes from the fact that they don't have a ton of experience doing this yet, but like, I mean, you got to learn somehow. So, but yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah.
one thing NASCAR doesn't want egg on their face. First time they're using these tires in a points-paying event. I have a feeling if this situation arises again, they'll maybe be a little less hand-holdy. I would hope at
I hope
least.
so.
Yeah, hopefully.
That'd be the hope. So, Loudon, New Hampshire. Listen here. Or Iowa. Can they use those at Iowa? Do we know? I don't think...
Iowa's not any different from Richmond, really, at the end of the day, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little faster because it's banked?
maybe. Yeah.
More banked?
I don't know. Because they could use it... Can they use them at Phoenix? I forget what tracks.
Yeah, I forget the tracks.
Because, like, now
that's allowed
Bristol
to
is
happen.
technically, so... Which...
Yeah, Phoenix will probably work, I imagine.
If Bristol works, Phoenix has got to work.
But I don't think Dover is. It's weird.
Well, Dover makes sense because Dover is insane.
Well, yeah. I'm not saying it's like, oh, no, why are we running them at Dover, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
I know
like,
what you mean.
yeah, like...
I know what you mean.
I don't know. I don't like how we have like 6,000 different packages for everywhere. Just run one package everywhere. If it sucks, it sucks. And that's how we got into other issues, but that's okay. Chandler Smith won the Xfinity race. Good for Chandler. I'm pretty sure a lot of people picked him to win because he won here last year in a Colleague car. Colleague continues to struggle, by the way. I think AJ was putzing around in like the 30s most of that race.
Yeesh.
Maybe. I don't know. Don't quote me on
finished.
that. I was at the gym.
He ended up finishing 14th, right ahead of SVG in 15th.
Okay. So I guess he wasn't putzing around in 30th all race.
Yeah.
I think Josh Williams finished 12th.
Yep, right there. Yeah, so all three of them right there.
Not a horrible day. I mean,
Not a horrible
probably not
day.
what they want, but
No.
Josh Williams didn't have a disaster for once. So
He did it.
That's good.
and SVG just continues to have this weirdly consistent season for someone who's never really run ovals. Like he's just doing,
It helps.
just doing fine.
To be in that
Oh, yeah.
Colleague car. I mean, those cars are still top third of the Xfinity field, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, they have AJ driving him, and he's very good.
I would assume
driving a race
AJ's.
car.
Yeah, I would assume AJ's mentor role too.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was part of the reason he moved back down to Xfinity, honestly. Except money. You know, money's the other one.
Yeah.
Joey Gase threw his bumper, though, at Dawson Cram.
Awesome. That was awesome.
Oh, that's so good.
I don't penalize him. That was awesome. That was sick.
They will.
Yep.
Can't walk in front on a live racetrack like that, but...
Ugh.
Do you remember it? So that reminds me of, it was in like 2014 or 2015. It was in response to what happened with Tony Stewart and Kevin Ward, right? Where they basically said that drivers weren't allowed to like get out of their car unless there was an emergency. And then just nobody respected it, and they just never did anything about it. Like, because I remember like 2 weeks after that, Kyle Larson like caught fire and he got out, and they're like, okay, well, it's fine this time if the car's on fire.
Well, no, that
then-
was always the rule. It was if you're like in immediate danger, get out of the car. But
Yeah. But then,
But then, yeah.
it's just funny how
what's
like that
immediate
rule
danger?
just slipped away and nobody listens to it
It's
anymore.
still a rule, though. You can't do what Joey Gase did. Like,
Hey, it's almost like the locking bumpers in the Xfinity and Truck Series thing.
Yeah.
it's a rule. Just after the first lap, it's a rule.
It's very much a like how we sometimes would enforce the claims rules in the USRL, where it's like, if you guys are good, I'm not even gonna count claims. Like like if we're having a good night, I'm not even gonna count them. But like if we're having
do that in
18
other
cautions
places.
by the halfway break, then I'm tallying them.
Don't put that juju on anybody.
It's almost like some rules just are allowed to be broken, and no one cares.
It's like a running trend for this episode. Yeah.
It's a shame when Denny Hamlin does it, though.
That dang Denny Hamlin.
Did you guys see the shirts that Dawson Cram is selling now?
Yes.
I'm
They
gonna
look like
buy
something
one.
that would be on the JTN merch store.
Yeah.
Right? Don't they?
I'm 100% buying one.
That's crazy.
Don't they, though? Like, that's exactly
They do.
how I was doing all of our merch. Exactly like
Check this
that.
out.
Same
MLB
style.
parody logo, but it's the silhouette of Joey Gase throwing the bumper instead of that dude holding the bat.
That'd
Write
be
that
pretty
down.
good.
Write that down.
I'm writing it down.
Make that shirt. Make that shirt.
Yeah. That is like a surprisingly, I wouldn't say frequent. It's the like it's weird that it's happened twice meme, but like when Joey Gase just absolutely goes off on somebody in a post race interview.
His interview,
it's
yeah,
always great.
I don't know what his problem is. I gave him his break.
He had a one at Dover a few years ago. I think he was talking about Ross Chastain, where he just laid into him. It's like we don't get to hear from Joey very often.
Him in the Cup race.
Yeah,
when Ross was in the one car already, it was like his first year at Trackhouse, I think.
I think it was older than that.
I think it was.
Yeah, it's like 2018, 2017.
Oh.
Yeah.
God, that was like
Ross
that was
wrecked last year at Dover. That was a lapped car. Was it JJ Yeley?
I think so.
He wrecked one of the Rick Ware cars at Dover.
I thought Denny Hamlin wrecked JJ.
Right, but Ross got blamed for it because everything's Ross's fault.
Oh, it was Brennan Poole.
That's who it was. Okay. Yep.
There we go.
One of those guys.
Beautiful.
Brennan Poole, sponsored by the popular NASCAR YouTubers.
Wait, who's he sponsored
Anyway,
by?
Moving on.
We don't even show up on the chart, Davey. What are we doing wrong?
Oh no, we're not on the. I can't say that.
Yeah.
I can't say what I was gonna say about that group of YouTubers. I don't know.
They won't see this anyways because they don't care. Well, no, they might see this. If this did well, they would see it and then copy it and make it their own.
Yeah.
But at least you can't plagiarize.
The Real Racers podcast. Anyway,
we're gonna Davey's gonna like split from this like Cart and IRL, and him and Tommy are gonna make the Real Racers podcast.
His own rival podcast.
They'll both
honestly,
be on track
Joe,
and turf.
If we ever happen to get wildly popular, that's got to be our April Fool's joke.
Yeah.
We got to put out whatever press release was put out for the split. We just have to copy that.
Yeah.
And then we can split off.
Yep.
Two people from JTN Track and Surf will make the Real Racers podcast. 2 people will remain for the Big Racers podcast. It's perfect. It's a great idea. We're gonna lock this one away for when we have our morning show.
We need to like find another NASCAR YouTube podcast that's cool and start like a fake beef with them.
I mean, Davey tried to do that last week.
Have you heard of a show called Door Bumper Clear?
Yeah, that's real beef though, I think.
It wasn't real beef. I mean,
yeah.
It was real to some people, but I don't think it was real to... Because obviously, they're just trying to drive engagement, right? Freddie's on Twitter trying to get people to listen to his podcast.
Yeah.
That's what that is. And then I'm on there trying to get people to look at us and disagree with us, and it was easy. It was really easy to do that.
Yeah.
All you have to do is suggest that Ty Gibbs maybe wrecked a lot of people because he was immature, and then everyone's like, "No, he didn't." It's like, well, like
we literally
right
said
there.
that.
I love.
Let me just pull a quote real quick.
I love too that he the examples he used as like bullshit reasoning for that was like, well, the other 2 guys, and it's like, yeah, nobody out here is saying that Austin Hill and Sheldon Creed are extremely mature either. Like, you're just proving the point more.
Like you were both arguing this. It was the best part was, and folks, Davey runs the Big Racers Twitter. If that wasn't obvious, want to give them all a credit for when something bad happens.
Oh. Honestly, I know who to reply to now every week. I know who to get a rise out of.
But they were arguing the same point that there shouldn't be like an age limit, right? Like I felt like that was the point that you both are arguing the same point. Like it's stupid to imply that that's something that should happen, and just got lost in the sauce that you meant the same thing. And then also, I like the response of I'm not dissing Austin Hill. He's my friend. And it's like, no, you are, but go off, King.
No, I'm not saying you're not his friend. I'm saying you're cooking Austin Hill by suggesting he has the maturity of Ty Gibbs.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Also, big shout out to NASCAR spotter not knowing Dawson Cram. So, that was cool.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Oh, who is that?
Exactly. He was the guy who wrecked Joey Gase.
No.
Also right reared the FDN. No, I know. I'm going along with the bit. And also right reared the FDNY truck at Charlotte that one year, and then got the decal that said like Or no, it's Jake Crum who's I'm thinking of, not Dawson Cram. Whatever, they have one letter apart.
Listen, it's the
What
same
else is-
name. I don't care.
Yeah, Cram, Crum, whatever, close enough.
Who names their kid Dawson?
The Cram family.
Apparently.
If you ever want to, if you ever want to see how
I wish I
great,
had a unique
like,
name.
new first names are, just watch like Supercross Futures when it's all the like 15-year-olds.
Well,
And
what
they're all
does-
named things like
Freaking
Brexton.
Jet Lawrence? Like, come on.
Jet with 2 Jet. How about Talon Hawkins and Ryder DiFrancesco? That's another good one.
Honestly, I have homework for us. I want us to all come up with the best fucking the best Supercross name that's fake. Like, I want someone to come here next week like Peter McCollins or something like that.
my buddy's favorite is Styles Robertson. His name is
That's insane.
Stilez. Styles with a Z.
Why,
I love motocross names so
why are we
much.
letting like mid 2000s like teen movies name kids? What's going on?
This generation. All right.
Oh my god.
Let's go from the shop.
Oh, I'm actually ready for once.
That kind of scared me how ready you were.
Iowa Speedway sold out their Xfinity race. They already sold out their Cup race. Good for Iowa.
Cool. Good for Iowa.
Something more pressing. We're just over a quarter of the way through the regular season. Last week was a quarter of the way, but we wanted to get one more race with the short track package, I feel like, before we made any assumptions. Real quick, one sentence explanation of why your biggest surprise and your biggest disappointment on the year. I'll go first. Biggest surprise has been the speed that SHR has had this year. I don't think any of us saw that coming. The speed, maybe not the results.
No, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
That's a
Biggest
good one. Yeah, Barry and Braxton
disappointment?
were good this week. Yeah.
Biggest disappointment has been Ford as a whole. I feel like they are severely missing something right now. Talk about SHR speed. It's relative to where they were last year, but RFK feels like they're not where they were at the end of last year. Obviously, Penske doesn't feel that way either. So, biggest surprise, SHR is definitely improved from last year. Largest disappointment, Ford as a whole feels like they're down.
This one, I was kind of surprised by this one, Joe. I'm gonna be honest. I gotta take a second here. I know it was on the show sheet, but that's toughy because you took two really good ones. Asshole.
That's why I went first.
Yeah. Okay, buddy.
I'm trying to figure out a good one because honestly, SHR was probably going to be mine too.
Yeah.
Disappointments. Where is he in points right now? Man, I don't know.
I mean, I can just run this whole segment if you want me to.
No,
I got
okay.
more disappointments.
I don't have like I don't think this is my biggest disappointment, but with all the talk last year, end of last year, and I think this plays into the Ford deal, about how good FRM was at the end of last year, and expectations for this year, they felt really flat so far, and they didn't even really have that road course to kind of prop them back up from Michael McDowell, and it's a shame. But they're not really performing at the level that I think people probably expect them to be. They're kind of performing where they were just prior, where like they're kind of fringing top 20s, And
Yeah,
I don't think that's what they want.
I'm looking now, and McDowell's been very hot and cold because he's got 2 8ths and an 11th, and then 4 finishes outside the top 25.
Yeah.
Let's see, what's Todd done so far?
Not much better.
Yeah, he's got 1 top 20. Yeah, that one's pretty rough. Oh my god, what was the one I just had that I'm drawing a blank on now? RCR. I mean, that team's a mess right now. We talked about it last week. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but like Austin Hill's spotter's response to him at the end of the race was kind of jarring. And Kyle Busch is like back to like 2011 Kyle Busch right now, it seems, and Austin Dillon has been nowhere this year. I mean, Jesse Hill's running great, or Jesse Love, but outside of that, like they're kind of a
Austin Hill's got
disaster
his
right now.
Wins
Yeah.
and stuff. I mean,
Yeah, I mean their Xfinity program's strong as always, but yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
Cup program looks like a mess right now.
I would say my biggest surprise is Ty Gibbs running as well as he has. He's still fourth in points right now.
That too, yeah.
I expected him to improve. I didn't expect him to be running quite as consistently as he has been. And he's still very young. He was only just a rookie last year. I think that there will be a slump, probably in the summer. But those Toyotas are so fast, and Ty Gibbs is learning a lot. He's absorbing information every week, it seems like. I'd say he's probably pretty comfortably in the playoffs at this point, unless he has a major slump. But that's pretty surprising. I expected him to hang around somewhere near the top 10 in points. I didn't expect him to be a potential candidate if he keeps this up for a regular season champion.
I was gonna say Legacy Motor Club's been a surprise, but they're not running as well as they thought they were, or at least their
They've had
results don't show.
speed though.
Yeah. I think one of the cool ones, again, going Xfinity, is Jordan Anderson's team's been pretty damn good so far this year. I didn't even know they were running 3 cars. Vargas qualified well. He unfortunately blew up super early. Parker Retzlaff won the pole. Jeb's been quick. Not necessarily been good in the races, but he's been quick.
Oh, we're talking about disappointments in Xfinity. Sheldon Creed.
Yeah, that too.
Sheldon Creed.
Woof.
That's been a mess.
Yeah. He's going to be a great truck lifer.
Yeah.
But
unfortunately, he's proven a lot of people right. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, good. We'll check in on those in another 6 weeks and see if
I'm
they've
down.
changed.
Did you actually write them down or something?
No. Maybe I'll record them after or something.
It's almost like the race picks. Joe, what's your bottom split moment of the week?
That was uncalled for, man. This one's I'm going first, so this is an easy one. Martin Truex Jr. is a little fit at the end of the race. That was just I don't know, just not a good look. It was funny.
Oh yeah.
I don't really have I didn't have anything going on outside of racing, so I guess that I don't know.
Mine was I got sick. I'm so sorry. When I started my Denny Hamlin talk, I was so confident and ready to talk about it, but then I spent the whole time I was out of breath the whole time. The whole
Davey has
time.
his lungs.
Yeah, exactly.
My bottom slip moment of the week is I have the worst luck with buying any sort of technology. Everything I've basically ever got or bought has been faulty out of the box.
Oh, what'd you buy?
And I could list them all, but we'd literally be here for half an hour. And the newest installment in this.
Oh no, it's show and tell time. That's never good.
For the first time in my life, I bought a new graphics card, and guess what? Bricked out of the box.
He is so mad.
So,
I'm
gonna go get my $200 back.
Did you buy it from a Micro Center or something, or did you buy?
I bought it from Best Buy.
Okay, so it'll at least be easy to take back and stuff.
Yeah.
When I built my, not this computer, unfortunately, I bought this computer pre-built, but when I built my last computer, that computer was, the power supply that I bought was bricked out of the box. The fucking power supply. How was that bricked?
Dude, that was when I was rebuilding my computer in 2020 or 2021. The first motherboard I got bricked.
Oh my god, dude!
The first Razer keyboard that I bought, that one half the LEDs didn't work out of the box. Sent it back. The second one, half the LEDs stopped working after a month, and sent that one back.
They probably sent you the same one.
Probably, yeah. It's just unreal how I everything I own, even small stuff like this monitor that I have here that you can't see. The power button has not worked on it properly since I got it over 10 years ago. My old roommate has the exact same monitor. His works perfectly fine. So I don't know. Tech just hates me.
That's insane. That's insane.
Tech knowledge.
Yep. So that was fun. Can't
Joe,
wait to get my money back.
Joe, you got a Road to Pro moment?
I do have a Road to Pro moment.
Hit us.
I want to give a big congratulations to the University of Michigan hockey team for beating Michigan State in the regional finals of the Maryland Heights region. By the way, NCAA, your freaking format for your college hockey tournament, it sucks. Why do we have Michigan, Michigan State, and North Dakota, three of the biggest programs in college hockey, playing in a 2,000-seat barn? I will never know. In playoffs, but Road to Pro moment, Michigan Wolverines going to their third
Joe,
straight
make your own damn podcast,
Frozen
okay?
Four.
Good Lord.
Did Joe say playoffs?
Playoffs? What talk about? Playoffs?
All right. Anyway,
I'm sorry, it's a tournament. It's a tournament.
playoffs.
But Michigan Wolverines hockey going to their third straight Frozen Four. Tristan, who's obviously a big fan of the show, don't know if he's getting to watch this week because he might be working. He was a big North Dakota fan. Michigan beat North Dakota too.
What do you mean doesn't get to watch because he's working? What do you mean?
I think he works at like food service style.
Yeah,
so.
but does he think the podcast fucking leaves? What are you talking about?
I don't know. I don't know.
Tristan, you better Tristan, you better watch this goddamn show. I swear to God.
Shout out to him. Though,
We're gonna
too.
find you.
He got a big internship for the summer, so
Cool,
shout
that's
out
good.
Tristan.
That's good. Congrats,
But yeah,
Tristan.
Michigan Wolverines hockey team. I think I mentioned it a couple times. They're going to the Frozen Four, third straight year in a row.
Playoffs?
Just like the football team. And guess what happened when the football team went to their third straight college football playoff? Just
I
saying.
don't get to listen this week.
a
He's
trend.
working.
It's a trend.
Talking about. Yeah, sorry, I missed the podcast. It got uploaded and I didn't get to listen to it when I saw it, so it's gone forever.
If we only did it live.
When he tunes into one of the broadcasts this week, I'm gonna make sure to tell him to listen to. Make sure he listens to the show this week.
Yeah, go to about the 46-minute mark of the video podcast so he can hear me absolutely slander you for being a fan.
Yeah, when Davey threatens you and then Matthew threatens to track you down. Yeah.
We love you, Tristan.
Yeah. Anyway.
Good Lord.
Matthew, Road to Pro moment.
Oh, do I have a Road to Pro moment?
It's okay if you don't.
I could have like 6 bottom split moments this week. There's a lot of dumb stuff that happened this week. But I'll just go with the obvious one. Eli Tomac's back. Just under a year after tearing his Achilles, and a lot of people didn't think he was going to come back to Moto. And it's been a rough return, and people were like, is Tomac done? And then he had a clean sweep of a Triple Crown race this weekend,
Wow.
which has only been done twice ever. So
That
Tomac's
rules.
back. So yeah.
Take
That
that,
was-
Jet
Davey.
Lawrence.
I'll have to show you what happened to Chet this weekend because it was dumb.
I saw
It
it.
was. Oh, you did?
I saw it.
That's not good.
He's right.
If Davey
Joe,
saw it,
he's
that's
right.
not good.
Joe, he's
Barsha
right.
teed him up for an all-timer.
Bro, it was
Oh
a
my God.
heat-seeking missile.
Yeah. I will say,
Unbelievable.
Justin Barsha does have a reputation for that. And yes, that was a very dumb move, but at the same time, like, if you're Jet Lawrence, you got to have your head on a swivel on lap 1, and you can't go all the way outside to all the way inside in one corner on the first lap and not expect to get T-boned. So it's like 70-30 on Justin Barsha, but still, that was like, when they showed the replay and a red number 51 came barreling in, I was like, of course it's Barsha. Of course it would be him. So, anyway, Davey, what's your Road to Pro moment?
So as Matt is probably familiar with, Rooster Teeth is shutting down. So a lot of the podcasts are kind of going with it. They're kind of trying to figure out ways to pivot, which is good because it's content that I like from a lot of people that I've listened to or watched for over a decade at this point in my life. One of the podcasts, which Matt, you probably know it, you probably at least heard of it. The one that's called, I don't know if I can say it because they bleep the name when they say the name of the podcast.
Oh, yeah, Jeff's podcast, yeah.
Yeah. I got
my buddy
my
my buddy Adam's an avid listener. Yeah.
Dude, I got my first. This is so every time they do a merch drop, I've been at work, or I just haven't been able to get it because everything sells out so fast. Like literally, so I got this cup. This is my first merch from that podcast. I've been dying to get something from this podcast. It's just a big cup. It's called the Gerpler. They wanted to make up a color. They made up Gerple. It's green and purple. It's the Gerpler. It's just a big cup.
Brown.
The other one that they have a nope, it's Gerpel. So the other one, this other merch drop was like a cookbook where like there's probably nonsense recipes in it, but like they've had like competitions on the podcast to make the best condiment and just other ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They did a bean hole where like they dug a hole and they made beans and they put beans in the hole and then they put like hot ashes over the hole and like they wanted to cook the beans and they took the beans out and the beans were ice cold because it didn't work for whatever reason. That recipe's probably in there, but they did a cookbook and I it's not confirmed that I've got it yet, but I was sitting on the website waiting for the merch drop to drop and I got it. It sold out literally within 45 seconds, but I got a confirmation email that said that I got it. And so hopefully it doesn't get canceled. Hopefully it got through. Hopefully I get my F-Face cookbook. Because I don't know, I just love those guys. That podcast is really cool. And it's shaped my humor for I don't know how long those guys have. Anyway, that's my Road to Pro moment. I've been able to secure some merch from my favorite podcast that is going away in name, but hopefully not in spirit.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Sweet.
Folks, that's Fake Racers Podcast this week. We can't thank you enough for watching, for listening. However you support us, make sure you give a like, follow, subscribe, follow at Fake Racers on X. Maybe you'll see Davey disagreeing with people. Maybe you should go disagree with Davey.
Maybe you should. Maybe you should send me Freddie Kraft's tweets so I can just tweet at him until he blocks me.
Reminder, we got live broadcasts on JTN this week, Tuesday, April 2nd through Thursday, April 4th. Each night around 9 p.m. we'll be racing. Mavericks at 8:30, but you can probably tune in around 9. Davey, what you got going on?
It's up in the air whether I'm able to race this weekend. So if I am able to race this weekend, the USRL is at Talladega. That'll be Saturday night.
I was supposed to race this weekend.
You were supposed to race.
I was supposed to run this race.
Excuse me. Yeah, but I'm not
It's WrestleMania
certain
weekend.
I'm going to be able to race. I might be going out of town for a little bit to do some fun stuff. So if it happens, so be it. Championship would be gone, but that's okay. I have other things in my life that are also important as well as sim racing, and that's okay. So
He'll probably say something opposite once we're done recording. Wink. He won't. I'm just kidding.
it's like Joe trash talks everyone who listens to this podcast once we're done recording.
I do.
You want me to talk about the other people you talk trash about, or you want me to leave that alone? Yeah, okay.
I don't care.
Good talk.
Do it.
Anyway, thanks for listening to the podcast.
Do
That's
it.
Matthew Steelman. He's got a Twitter, but
M. Steelman 51.
actually,
Yeah.
no, you've been on Twitter a little bit. The they're gonna kiss thing was pretty funny. with Bubba-
Okay,
with
I
Bubba
gotta
and
explain the
Life.
backstory behind that. So, I was in VC I was drawing. I was hanging out with all of my gay art friends, and that's how they would appreciate to be called. And
Understood.
we were talking about, I don't remember. I think we were just like showing our desktops, and I have on my drawing tablet. I have like Kyle Larson post championship, like him with the flag out the window as my wallpaper on there. And we were talking about that, and I was kind of just like explaining the arc of Kyle Larson's career and the obvious thing, and like there was like talk about his relationship with Bubba Wallace, and then like immediately after that conversation is when that video posted of Bubba coming over to apologize. And I posted that in chat. I was like, oh, look, it's our boys. And one of my friends was like, it looks like they're going to kiss, like, with the way he grabbed him. And I was like, oh, my God, it does. And so I had to tweet that. So of just them holding each other and smiling. So anyway, that's the kind of content that you can expect when you follow me. So
At M. Steelman 51.
yeah.
Yep. Get involved with the Fake Racers Twitter. It's at Fake Racers. Get involved with Track and Turf, track_and_turf on Twitter. Joe took charge of the Track and Turf Twitter. He's going to be taking care of some of the other sports. Maybe I'll throw some soccer stuff out there. Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Take charge is a very loose term. I posted one meme because I made it up and I thought it was the funniest thing ever, and then, it did its thing, and
It was funny. I thought it was funny.
it was funny.
I don't even... But yeah, I actually got to remember that I can put other stuff on there.
Yeah. You could put soccer stuff on there.
That's what I was saying. I might put a little bit of soccer on there.
Yeah. That'd be pretty cool.
Davey Hazard, Saturday morning FIFA on Track and Turf.
Live stream on Twitter.
I mean, you can do it to the YouTube.
Could. Maybe. I am
Simulcast
known
to Twitch.
I am known to play a little bit of
Teach you how to do that.
FIFA. You can teach me how to do that. But yeah, we're doing stuff. We're trying. The content has been a little bit of a miss for me because I've been so freaking busy during the day. But
The operative word is trying.
we're getting. I'm kind of like there might be a bright spot here, and there's some videos that I've been meaning to make. So maybe we'll put a few things out here, but it's good. Follow Track and Turf on YouTube, where all this stuff's going to be coming out. I mean, we still have other videos that we want to do for the YouTube as well as some of the other shows that are or may or may not be in development, or at least things like Oofsides that's going to be coming later in the year. You don't want to miss that. I recently reheard the clip where Dewey lost his shit at Czech, which was pretty funny. It made me really miss that show. Definitely just keep.
We need
the best part when we were
timestamps for
recording
those
that.
things too.
When we were recording that, I was like, I don't know if this is a bit or not. I'm just gonna let this play out.
We need timestamps for those things.
It's so good.
Or we need to just honestly.
Well, we can put them in the shorts feed. That's perfect for the shorts feed. Is what I'm saying.
If you could take the chaos of that show and condense it into an hour, Matt, if you just could,
Yeah.
oh, it'd be so good. It'd be so good.
We know it's impossible.
But if you definitely, oh man, if you could.
Who really needs to hear about Jags Titans? Nobody.
Dude, that is my favorite cliche of that show is when we just get wildly off topic and then we're like, oh yeah, and that was Colts Broncos. Anyway. So yeah.
But that'll be coming in the fall. We'll have other stuff. I've got some videos in the ether right now in my brain. Just have to find time to do them. I think we're all in that boat right now, and hopefully.
But you miss them if you don't hop on the board. So make sure you do that.
Exactly, because they're going to be great. So that's all we do here at Track and Turf is make great content.
Just you wait.
Great stuff. Make sure you like and comment on this video. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you rate the podcast on Spotify. Give us a follow. And I mean, Joe, is there anything else? I mean, that's really it.
That's it. Go follow
already covered the
JTN.
podcast.
This outro's been going for so long.
Listen, 6-minute outros are our specialty, okay?
That is
I
true.
will, while Joe is syncing the audio, I'll write an outro that we can actually use, and it's the same every time, which we should have done already.
Follow Track
We're
and
still
Turf
learning.
on Twitter, on YouTube,
Okay, shut up.
on Facebook.
Spitballing.
Folks, thank you so much for
Follow us on
listening.
MySpace.
We hope you return next week. We'll see you guys next week right here on the Fake Racers Podcast.
Goodbye.